And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to this week's episode of The Long Voyage. Yet again, one of those where I have long since forgotten exactly what episode it is we've reached, but we are joined by...
Everyone.
Everyone. Fantastic. We
Yes,
we are, in fact, all here now. Excellent. That means it's recap time.
It is.
Yes.
This episode is number 19, I believe.
Oh, okay.
So last time, on episode 18 of A Song at Tara...
No.
Not A Song at Tara? No. A man can dream, can't he?
You guys keep thinking that.
I do. I'm so used to it. It's because... I'll tell you why this has been happening, ladies and gentlemen. It's because today of all days, I have begun the process of doing standalone recordings of Taliesin's poems from the A Song at Tara campaign. So I've got werewolves on the brain. So, in session 18, last session of The Long Voyage, ladies and gentlemen, we trekked our way through the coastal forests of this area of the Lotus Empire, fearful that our newfound allies in the lovely seaside town of Lan Wan, well, not seaside, but the coastal town of Lan Wan, were going to be attacked by bandits, which they were. And we were able to attack one of their forward camp and sort of sabotage it as best as possible. But although the minions left to guard it were a pushover for us, we were then confronted when we got there by something much, much worse. The leader of these ruffians, who, as it turns out, the rumours about him were only half correct. He wasn't an Oni, but he was in fact an Enenra. He was a smoke demon, and he for a long time made mockery of us and our efforts, and pretty much killed a couple of the soldiers sent to assist us by forcing them to inhale smoke in their lungs. But then, out of nowhere, arrows started flying, which actually did damage to this creature, and eventually we were able to attack it as well. It was weakened enough that we could attack it, and banish it. We have no idea who helped us. Well, some of us have an idea who helped us, but in character, no one knows who helped us. And we were able to then make our way back to Lan Wan, where we found that there had been some damage and some casualties, but for the most part, having the larger part of the garrison actually there, and having some the Southlanders who were on the Fager Fair return just in time, meant that they held off the attack quite nicely. There was some stuff about meeting the local protecting spirit of Lan Wan, this nine-tailed fox who could transform into a woman. That happened.
Yes.
And then after that, things sort of began to settle back in. Everyone celebrated, and Lord Bao, in charge of the town, requested that the Captain Ormer present himself to him for a new mission that he'd like him to undertake. Ormer decided to have some fun at Sindri's expense when Sindri took him up there to speak to the man. He pretended to be absolutely almost blackout drunk, causing poor Sindri to suffer an aneurysm, only to then reveal that he was actually pretty sober when he actually spoke to the man. And then after, we found out that basically what Lord Bao wanted was that his daughter, who was very beautiful but also mute, had finally found a suitor. It was lovely, but the suitor was located a long way away from Lan Wan, so she needed an escort to get there, basically. And he was wondering, since we were so good at killing things, protecting things, and we could go places where his garrison couldn't, could we maybe escort his darling daughter to her destination, which I think we agreed to.
Yes.
There was some philosophical discussions about this, that, and the other between members of the crew, including Ormer and Sindri, and other members of the party. I think the situation between Gulfi and the rest of the crew made some interesting headway on the basis that Gylfi has been struggling with his position in the crew and has enjoyed being a part of this new society, but it's got to the point where Ormer is concerned about him, whether or not he's even going to be able to continue as a part of the crew. If he doesn't want to, fine, we can leave him here. That's his choice. Won't begrudge him that, but we need to know that he's going to back us 100% if we are going to go there. If we're going to go the distance, basically. And various people tried to convey this to Gylfi with varying degrees of success. And otherwise, aside from discussing how far we've come on the voyage between various people, we otherwise sort of made preparations for the journey ahead of us, because a few of us were going to go on a journey inland to see more of the Lotus Lands for ourselves.
Indeed.
I'm sure there might be some more details that I've completely forgotten them, unfortunately.
Yeah, you met someone, the person who brought news of the impending marriage.
That's right. Can't remember his name now, though.
Ren,
who certain members of the player team have reason to believe that he is not who he says he is, but you know. But no, these rumours are unfounded, and I've already made it clear that I don't personally think that it's that this person is anyone else than who they say they are. Except, well, no, seriously, I'm not convinced that there's anything odd about Ren.
Okay.
So, point is, yes, he brought this knowledge. I think will he be joining us? Will he be setting off on his own?
No, he will be joining you, and in fact, you learn as preparations are being made, and let's just go back in character with that then. But you learn as preparations are made for this journey that there are others from the village who will be coming along as well for other reasons. Basically, with quite apart from the fact that Lord Bao, of course, clearly trusts you guys implicitly, he doesn't think that just the 5 of you, he wants to give his daughter a somewhat larger escort than that. On the other hand, he's also got a clear responsibility to the now almost city of Lanwan, in that he can't just send all his soldiers with his daughter. And he's already, as you know, he's got limited resources. He doesn't have that many soldiers at his disposal. So the thing is that while you guys set off on this very allegedly quite long trek inland, the rest of the crew of the Fagerferd will be going into the hinterlands of Lord Bao's lands and clearing out the remainder of the bandits, and hopefully that will land some money for Lord Bao as well, so he can start possibly expanding his troops and so on. But that's neither here nor there, because you're not even going to be in the vicinity for that. But he does send Li Tang and 8 soldiers with him, and he makes damn sure that they are the 8 best men in the garrison that are going, with you guys. Other than that, Ah Cheng is coming along. Some of you have clearly met him. You've been there for a while. He is heading off on basically he's been pestering his parents for long enough that he can't really spend his entire youth in this backwater out by the sea, and he wants to see more of the Lotus Empire. Here's a chance for him to actually go somewhere.
Yes, Ah Cheng, the Gylfi's immediate competition for prettiest pretty boy in Lanwan.
Yes, precisely. The one that the young women have been sighing over for quite some time, and yeah. So basically, both the two objects of general adoration are now leaving Lanwan. The many a heart shall be broken. Other than him, Eileen is coming along. The seamstress. She isn't a native to Lanwan anyway, but because of all the problems with caravans lately, she has to come and set up some new. Basically, she has to set up new contacts to get cloth and whatever else she needs, or else she will be out of business. So she's coming along. Liling, of course, is coming along. That kind of goes without saying. And Ren, of course, is also coming.
Excellent. Okay. And then of our crew, just us?
Just you.
Okay, just us.
Yep, the rest of the crew will be going bandit hunting. And
I'm always tempted to say that.
Oh, sorry, please, go on.
So I'm always tempted to say that Ormo has sent his 5 best people, although I'm not sure we quite live up to that yet.
He's at least sent the 5 people he trusts the most to be able to do something like this. You're the only part of the crew that on any previous occasion has been, so to say, detached from the rest of the crew for long spells at a time down in Tirglass. So you have experience with this, and that's clearly why he's chosen you for this. And this time the rest of the crew are kind of alright with it, because hey, at least they get to go bandit hunting while you get to do escort duty, so yeah.
Yes, God forbid that, they always be saddled with doing the boring jobs.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, why should it always be them?
Well, we're the player characters for a start.
Oh.
I know, sorry, no metagaming, or at least no meta narrative thingy. But yeah, okay. So, well, we need to get ready for this journey then. As ready as we can be, I suppose. I mean, considering that we are acting as part of an actual, for lack of a better term, professional entourage for a minor Lotus Imperial noble, might it be worth it if we? Let's just say it's a good idea that we've bought some fancy new clothes just in case.
Well, most of you had already bought, nice clothes from Eileen, and then you would be able to bring that if you want, and more than that, Litang makes sure that you all have a let me show you something here. If you look at this fellow here, right?
Yes, the Imperial throat.
Yes, you can see around his throat he has, and the guys behind him as well. He's got a thick silk scarf around it's raw silk around his throat, which goes inside the armor. It's not that it offers a great deal of protection or anything of the sort, but he makes sure that you all get one as well in the colors of Lanwan, which is an ocean blue, not surprisingly. So you will be identifiable, and if you look at the scarf, it is embroidered, so you while it won't be immediately visible when it's wrapped around your necks, you will be able to take it off and show it to someone and say, look, we're working for this guy.
Yes,
because it's embroidered with his what's it called? I would say coat of arms, but that's not exactly what it's called in this culture, but with his mark at least. Yeah.
Yes. That is quite useful. So that's anything anyone wants to roleplay before we set out on this epic adventure?
Doesn't sound like it.
No, I mean, a fair few people are muted at the moment, so...
Yeah.
I'm not.
Nope,
not.
You're not.
It's just you and me. Let's just have Frothy and Sindri roll. Let's talk about things.
I mean...
Go ahead. Go ahead, Oscar.
As entertaining as it could be to bigger with you all night, perhaps it won't be that entertaining.
Not for anyone else, no.
No, my guess
Okay.
is it would get kind of repetitive pretty quickly.
Kind of what arguments are all about. Let's see. Let's see if I need anything before we go, equipment-wise. I doubt it, but...
Oh, and by the way, it's called a mon.
A mon?
Yes, the emblem. It's not heraldry as such. It's not a coat of... Well, it is heraldry, but it's not a coat of arms. It's called a mon.
I want a Squirtle.
It's not that kind of mon. Yes, one surefire way to wind up us at RGM is to...
Groan. Also, you can't have the Squirtle because I want it.
In that case, I guess I'll go with the Charmander.
That's fine. You can have the Charmander. I want the
think-
one with with the sunglasses and the cool attitude.
Yeah, the
Even
long
though I
voyage.
prefer water starters.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen. From now on, the long voyage is going to become a Pokemon role-playing scenario.
No, it's not. But guys,
I-
nobody seemed to want to really do much of anything before you set out.
No, I mean,
Nothing roleplay worthy.
no, not
Right.
really.
Right. Okay. Well, in that case, you do, in fact, a couple of days later. Obviously, there's not like something like this is arranged in a single day. The provisions alone needs to, be done, and there's a farewell thing, party, something or other for Li Ling as well, where all the important people in town are invited, and that includes you, of course, seeing as you're going to be escorting her, and of course a few others from the ship, and basically, it's a there's a strange feeling in Lanwan because of this. Because on one hand, everybody is happy for the young woman because, quite frankly, most people thought that she was probably never going to get married. Because of the muteness, and on the other hand, they're all sad to see her go because she's so well liked.
Clearly, they've never heard a misogynistic joke before.
Maybe not.
Don't think they need to hear one now. Is it possible to? Can I have Sindri have bought some arrows? I mean, or something like that, because I know that their arrows are different from ours. But surely I can get some made that would fit Sindri's bow before we go. 'Cause I've only got 12 left now, and 12 isn't going to be enough, I think.
Nope, I doubt it.
Okay.
Hunting alone is going to require more than 12 arrows. So yeah, you get you can get that done, no problem. And
Okay. We'll start our epic.
your epic trek through the countryside, inland countryside, in fact, of
Yeah.
the Lotus Empire. And yes, a few mornings later, you are in fact, you do in fact set out from Lanwan, and the entire community has turned out early in the morning to, wave goodbye and wish good luck and so on and so forth. There's quite a bit of singing and more sobbing than you would expect, really. And soon after, it's just you and your small entourage and handful of covered wagons and the road. It should be said that horses are available to all who want them. They will be made available in case you want to ride instead of walk.
Let's see if I have any experience riding. Because are there many horses in the Southland?
Not many, but they are there. Think Icelandic horses.
Well, if I don't have anything in the riding skill, can I still ride?
Yeah, there's. I mean, you can ride, just not terribly well, and your arse is going to be sore within an hour. But it's a good chance to learn how to.
Mm-hmm. It's a sight
I'll
of
take.
this, the lovely, this majestic convoy of people going along. You've got wonderful sort of Asian themed music playing in the background, and then just interspersed with it, you hear the very faint sound of a voice going ow, 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 as as the horse justly trots along.
Mm-hmm. I'm kind of seeing a procession of Asian styled wagons and soldiers and so on, and just as they pass you by, and then there's a small opening on the road where nothing, and then you can hear multiple ow, 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 and then you see 5 Vikings coming along on horses, none of them looking particularly comfy.
No, it's just, I will say Sindri will prefer to walk. He
Yep.
trusts his own 2 legs.
Yep. I mean, the point being that if you need to go faster for whatever reason, there are the wagons that you can ride.
Yes,
on,
of course.
So.
Yeah. I mean, he was. I mean, he might have been tempted to take the horse only because ready sources of rations, but no. The wagons are good. So I don't know. Really.
I think, well, I don't think. What happens is, as you're traveling, even on that first day, at some point, something is. There was a lot of messages as if somebody wrote. Nothing. I just got a noise in the headset as if somebody had just sent me a message, but there was nothing.
Odd.
World 20 updated all at once.
Anyway, Brain, are you there?
I am.
Excellent. Because during the first day, Gylfi is in fact approached
By whom?
by this young man. Who is a good rider from the looks of it. I don't know if Gylfi has accepted the offer of a horse or if he's walking.
Double check if Gylfi has any baka riding. He does. And no. So yeah, I assume Gylfi will be walking as well.
Okay. Well, he rides up next to Gylfi and grins, a rather roguish kind of grin in his direction, and says, "So, what do you think? What do you think the young women will do now that both you and I are gone?"
Looks at him. I don't know, cry themselves into the pillows.
Oh, that is a sad thing to imagine. I was hoping that, well, I'm kind of hoping that at least some of them will go on and find some nice husbands, but yeah, I'm just wondering, seeing as, quite frankly, you have been my fiercest competition for the last 2 or 3 years.
Oh no. I wouldn't dare.
Oh, it's not so much a matter of what you dare as what they choose. And let's face it,
Oh.
you are taller and you're foreign, so there you go.
I suppose there is a bit of a foreign mist.
Yes, I suppose there is. Anyway, he says, and and smiles. I need to ask you there: is this a person that you think that Gylfi would have had much interaction with back in before this whole thing?
I would say that would depend like a lot depend on him.
He's usually been found around the fat goose. His
Since Gylfi was spending quite a lot of time. I suppose I would share a couple of drinks and maybe
Yeah. Well, in that case, you also know that he is actually quite a nice guy. But he says, "I have. You see, I have a little secret."
Ooh, do tell.
Well, can I? I have to be sure I can trust you not to, tell everyone else about this. But I do actually have something that might be of slight interest. He gestures for you to follow him, and he heads towards one of the supply wagons.
Yeah, sure. Gylfi will just raise his eyebrows, rugged, like, yo.
Yep. He just he hops up off his horse and asks you to lead it, hold the reins and lead it along, and then he hops up in the back of the cart, and he flips the cloth aside so you can see he is pointing to a rather large barrel, and he says that is not what it says it is.
What does it say says it is?
It says that it's oil.
Gylfi just taps his nose like, I get you.
Mm-hmm. I don't think my father is going to miss one barrel.
I think the long one is currently more concerned with food than alcohol.
True. But occasionally he needs alcohol for his food.
Mm.
That said, I figured that we could use a barrel of his best rice wine for the journey, don't you think?
Just you have to be careful dispensing them among the Southlanders.
Don't worry, I'll be rationing it.
Some of those have bottomless voids.
Yeah, I've kind of noticed that the big guy, he says, and jabs the thumb towards Baggy. He can eat more food than any human being I've ever seen. Where does he put it all?
The secret lies in the big mouth of his.
Oh.
Well,
that does explain a thing or two.
Yeah, it's kind of like when he was younger, so he told all those stories, that and because about 50-50 of them were false, it just kept growing and growing, and now he has massive mouth that he has to fit all the food in and drink.
Yeah, I get it. Okay, well, he winks and he gets the joke, and then he hops back out and gets back on his horse and says, "I would make you a bet to see which one of us has the most luck along the way, but with women. But on the other hand, that would be slightly offensive."
If it happens, it happens. But let's not make a game out of it. It's a bit disrespectful.
Exactly. Besides, that's gonna win anyway.
Maybe you do. Maybe you don't.
he grins again and pulls his horse up alongside the cart and just gives you a nod and rides off again. Up to the front of the column.
Yeah, just Gylfi just like stands there for a second, stares after him. Just like,
We lost Heine.
Oh,
His internet's been playing up all day, so he'll try and join us if he can.
okay.
the rebooting. This
Yes.
reboot of reboot.
I hope
Long
he will
Voyage.
manage, because it's been a while since we had Baggy with us, obviously.
Need him for Long Voyage 19, the rebooting.
The rebooting, indeed.
Okay.
Rebooting.
Oh god, no. That's the only Gylfi needs to worry about at this point.
Boop.
Boop.
Yes. Also known as the Long Voyage, the cattening.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Is anybody else doing anything out of the ordinary, so to say? Just basically tagging along.
Probably commenting on the... I mean, even though we've seen a fair bit of it in the mountains, as we go further in, there's going to be more interesting flora and fauna to see.
Oh yes, absolutely.
And Sindri is very keen to comment on all of these things.
Yeah.
It fascinates him, because obviously he's
He's
Hunting
a
as he does.
whole new man.
something like that. So
Well,
he's probably...
Yep, sure. Please.
He's probably, for lack of a better term, fanboying to whoever's close enough to hear him talking about these things and about what he thinks he's able to deduce from what he can see.
Well, then, for the first couple of days along the road, you don't, you travel upwards quite a bit, because you have to get up through the mountains and out the other side, to get out of Lord Bow's lands.
Yes.
But on the third day, roughly halfway through the afternoon, you make it through the last pass, and you've been taking the shortest route possible out of Lord Bow's domain. So you've it is fairly sizable, obviously, but you've made good speed. There hasn't been anything bothering you. No bandits, no smoke demons, nothing of the sort. So you just you are. You get to the almost to the top of this mountain. I can actually see here. Yeah, I don't know why either, Gylfi. You get almost to the top of that, and I'll just hop over to Ilva in the meantime, before we have the reveal of what you see when you get through the pass, because you say you want to keep Leland company.
Yeah, that was a phrase.
Yeah.
I
Well-
forgot her name.
Yeah, that Leland. She's let me just. Here we go. This young woman.
If she wants a company, of course.
Oh, she most definitely does. Sitting on her own in the back of a rumbling cart with no one to talk to is gonna be unspeakably boring.
Well-
She can't speak, but somebody can speak with her. Somebody to keep her company, and she can write, if nothing else.
Yeah, but Elva isn't good at reading.
Well, she can help you.
But yeah, she will try and keep the woman company.
Yeah, well, and she's quite happy for it. It's clear she's happy that you're that you're taking the time to interact with her, because again, otherwise this would be unspeakably boring. She does have a few things along to not make it quite so dull. She's got some books. She's got a calligraphy set, so she can practice that. She's even got a couple of games like Go and games like that along. She's more than happy to teach you how to play them as well, because what use is it to have games along when you don't have anyone to play them with?
Sure, she's up for that. And
And-
then she'll keep bothering Frody until she gets him to borrow her the table table.
Ooh, that is a huge win with her, if of course Frody lets her borrow it.
Well, he definitely wants to know if it's a private party or if he can play as well.
Oh, you would be more than welcome, clearly. Again, she's really grateful for... She's very, very grateful for any company that she can get. She's really... yeah, she's nervous. It's clear that she's nervous, and she isn't even keeping that a secret. If anybody asks her, she writes it down. She's got this wax tablet because, you know, wax tablets are cool. You can use them over and over again. She's also got a little one made of slates with some chalk. And she's got various different ones that she can use to write on. But so she's not being secretive about being nervous. It's a big deal, and she is very young. You know, not by the standards of this world, obviously. She's not too young to marry. By the standards of ours, oh hell yes.
She's 14.
Yeah, exactly.
At that age, she would be. You want to marry her? Too.
Yeah, but in a setting such as this, she's of marriageable age.
Yep.
Yes.
And that's the so basically, as she puts it, she's never been very far away from home anyway. She's quite frankly, she admits it to you that she's never actually left her father's lands. In her entire life, she's never been off her father's lands. So this is a huge deal for her, obviously.
I think if she wants to, Ilva will tell of their travels. Because this is also the farthest away Ilva has ever been from her home.
Well, yeah.
In fact, this is the first time she ever left her city.
Yes. And it's definitely, I mean, obviously your linguistic skills will improve pretty rapidly because you get to use them.
Yeah.
What you also realize is that she's starting to pick up a word of Southlander or two.
Well, if she wants to learn, Ilva will actually help her. You know,
she
like,
does.
oh, what does that mean? And then Ilva will,
Yeah.
make a crude drawing of an ice reaver, for example, that is what she's asking about.
And she's more than happy to learn. It's only a word or two here or there, but you have been in town for a while now, and she is clearly very intelligent. From now that you get to know her like this, there is a 5-star brain behind those pretty brown eyes.
Pretty little eyes.
Yeah, there really is. So. That's the so yeah, you guys have ample time to socialize, and as you said, Frothy wanted to play Tafel as well. He gets to learn how to play this version that they use. Basically, it's the same game as what we call Go.
Woo! New games.
New games, exactly, and it's simple, and it's something that you could play on board ship as well. So hey, and
next mission, get aboard of that.
There you go. And so yes, there's quite a there's a good atmosphere in the caravan. And then, as I said, on the third day, halfway through the afternoon, you get through the final pass out of Lord Bow's lands, and what opens up in front of you is astonishing. None of you have ever seen anything even remotely comparable to this kind of landscape. It looks like they've cut terraces out of the mountainsides. In fact, I have a picture here, which, if you ignore,
I imagine the old rural Chinese countryside.
If you ignore the slightly more modern looking road on this, then that is the exact kind of landscape that you suddenly can see.
Oh,
And you
It's
can,
kind of like all the animes where they ride through on bikes in their countryside.
Yep.
Terraces of rice fields everywhere.
yep, rice paddies everywhere, and massive amounts of arable farmland down there. But it's of a type that I mean, you've seen the way fields to work is you have grain or some kind of root vegetables that grow there of whatever kind, celery or whatever. But here you have this. It looks completely alien and obviously quite beautiful. I mean, I think this is, in fact, if you take a look at the second picture I'm going to send you here, this would probably be pretty much exactly the kind of thing that you would see. Again, forget the modern telephone mast and so on, but other than that, that's the kind of lighting and what you're looking down at.
Misty morning.
Yes. Well, it's not morning, but it's still misty when you get through the pass.
Ilva has dropped her jaw.
What on earth am I seeing?
that's beautiful.
Yes.
You are. So that looks and sounds a bit like all the Southlanders are basically just standing there with their jaws agape.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that does get Ren's attention. Pulls his horse up next to where you guys are, and it's like, you all look like you've seen something extraordinary.
That's because we have.
What this? It's
Yes.
just farmland.
That's beautiful.
Well, I suppose it is. In the symmetry of it, I suppose I can see why. I just never thought of it that way. You don't have
You know,
anything like this where you come from. You don't eat rice?
No,
No.
not really.
And it's much colder.
Well,
Most
that
of our
would-
farmland is only green a couple of months a year. The rest of the year it's completely white, covered in snow.
That sounds like a terribly harsh way to live.
It is.
Harsh land for harsh people.
I suppose I can see why. Yes. You must be hard people to make it in such a place. That would explain why you're such phenomenal warriors. See, I've learned something today as well. Fascinating.
Yes.
What? You said this was farmland.
Yes,
What
yes,
do you
this
grow here?
rice.
Rice?
Rice.
I thought they grew on a bush of some sort.
Oh no, that they grow in very wet fields.
Oh,
That's interesting.
It is indeed. A sight to behold.
What you can also, incidentally, what's also telling for you guys is you're up quite high, but the landscape that spreads out before you, once you get down from the mountains, you can see roads down there crisscrossing the landscape, and they all look to be slightly elevated because the rice paddies around them go all the way up to the side of the road to get as much farmland out of the countryside as possible. So it's really it's laid out according to a very definite plan. And it is for as far as you can see, and as I said, you are up quite high, so you can see very far.
I think this will make Ilva smile. Very disciplined warriors, very disciplined farming.
Ah, yes.
I mean, even the little leaves are in a perfect row.
Well, Ren says and smiles. He actually, he dismounts and he ties his horse to the back of one of the carts, and then he just, walks with the rest of you for a while. Well, we like structure and order in the Empire. It's I guess it shows in even such things as how we grow our crops. I must say, one day it would be spectacular to visit your home and see those white lands. That would be remarkable. I think I should like that.
Speaking of long travels,
Yeah.
what kind of ships do you guys have? I've seen the little ones in the little what were they? A lagoon?
Yes.
She's looking for the word in
Yes.
Imperial.
In the inlet. Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
but they can't go very far.
No, but it should be reminded you as well. I don't know if you have forgotten this or if you're just not mentioning it.
Oh,
to
she
him.
haven't. She's just not sure she should mention it to
Oh,
him.
right. Yes, and he said, well, we do have larger ships. They are, well, several kinds, really. But we do have trading vessels that can go across oceans. Not many do. The Empire is incredibly vast, and we can produce pretty much anything we want ourselves. But there are always going to be people who are curious about foreign lands and who want to see them. And there are always going to be people who would be willing to to buy what we make anyway, and you could make a fortune that way, I assume. So there will be merchants who risk such long treks across the ocean, but I don't think, as far as I know, that any have ever gone as far as your home.
Elva shakes her head. No, we've seen Frontier Glass and a little further away, but no from this country.
Tearglass, what is that?
It's a very green and very wet country.
Well, he says and points to down below. That's very wet as well.
Yeah, but it's like a waterfall of rain when it rains.
Oh, it rains all the time, I see.
Hmm.
And when it rains, it doesn't just rain, it's like a waterfall everywhere.
And people still live there? He says and looks, because, obviously he takes it pretty much literally when you say that.
Yeah, they apparently grow a lot of food, too.
Yes. They have some similarities to our culture in that they don't fight in the disciplined way you do. They believe more in individual fighting, but there are a lot more of them, and they're not quite as large or as powerful as we are as a people. But
So
yes, they have.
So they have numbers, but not individual size. I see. Well, you obviously haven't seen much of the Empire yet, so you probably don't have much by way of comparison. But I I would be surprised if this place is anywhere near the size of the Empire. Personally, this is it's an incredibly vast land, unbelievably so. It takes, well, let's just say it takes a very long time to travel across it. We have a very complicated, very complicated manner of ruling this incredibly vast territory. There is the Emperor at the top. He is the ruler of the entire empire. At the moment, the Emperor is a man by the name of Takao.
Hmm.
and on the and he is attempting to rebuild the empire after his predecessor basically he got very close to, and he looks uncomfortable at this, and he says, I should not speak ill of any of the emperors, even one who is no longer with us, but I think I'll make an exception in this case. He was a cruel man who very nearly destroyed the empire from within. It was only because of the incredible loyalty and high discipline of our soldiers that it did not happen, because they still held the frontiers. But it very nearly destroyed the empire nonetheless. And then there's, there's beneath him, there are of course the imperial family, which can be extremely large at times. Goodness gracious, they can number in their hundreds if you count all the cousins and uncles and so on and so forth. Then there are the civil servants. Beneath that there's the imperial grand magistrate, who is the highest civil servant in the land. He oversees all the day-to-day running of pretty much everything, and that all spreads out like the roots of a tree all over the empire. It's large enough that it has to be that way. Many distant parts of the empire I don't think they have much idea. The people who live there probably don't really have much in the ways of an idea of what the empire really is. It's too vast. They just know they're part of it. So what about your homes? I imagine that it has to be quite large as well. If you can only grow crops a few months out of the year, then you would need quite a lot of space to grow enough food, I imagine, to sustain you.
Well, it is large, but there is few settlements and far between them.
Oh, so there aren't that many of you. Oh, okay.
No.
No, I think Vananes is only a few thousand more than Venlau.
And Vananes
is
the biggest city.
And it's only, you said, a few thousand people larger than Lanwan.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, you can just see the look on his face is one of complete bafflement at the concept. And he's, well, I suppose I should then tell you that the imperial capital has a population of 750 times 1,000.
Ilva looks like she's trying to add the numbers, and then it looks like there is a timeout and a short second in her head.
Blanket, just totally.
She's not that smart, okay?
That's just stupid, a number that large. It's insane.
Well, we tend to think that it works.
It must do, clearly. But, yes, we are by comparison, yes, we are a much, much smaller people, but we are very strong and we are very adaptable. We have to be, and...
Clearly. I mean, you have made it this far. Despite being few, you are nonetheless the people who now stand in the Lotus Empire, not the other way around. That speaks very highly of you. I have nothing but respect for you.
And our... well... The hierarchy isn't that hard to discern either in our home.
Oh,
It's
so it's
basically
less...
Gangria at the top, and then few heads of each city, and they don't have hundreds of cousins.
Is that a title or is it
Which one?
Ganga?
Gangria
Is our sword.
Oh, so your sword actually rules? That is
Yes.
fascinating. That is interesting. And people don't have a problem with this.
No,
Oh
That
my
is a very
she is there to protect us, and she has our best interests at heart.
That is, I'm fascinated by that. I think that is a. I could not imagine that. I always, well, considering that the Empire is the way the Empire is, I never thought of it as a possibility that could be how it was done. I would have.
Well, wait, yeah, sword.
Oh,
I'm supposed you still have one.
well, we
Or a
do
few.
somewhere. You see, the previous emperor, the one who wasn't very, wasn't the best ruler in the history of the empire. It's obvious when he says that he is apologizing.
He's not happy about saying it.
He's apologizing 100 times to the powers for even saying so, inwardly. But
It's like, I'm very sorry we chose him. I'm very sorry he was there. I'm very sorry. Don't kill us.
yes, please, I'm sorry I spoke ill of him. I'm so sorry, but he really was a shit. Sorry. That way.
Sorry, don't strike me down, please.
Yes, please.
Mhm.
And he says, well, he did not get along with the sword of the dove, which is our sword, Ganashi. He basically banished the sword from the imperial court.
So he kicked him out.
Not as such. I mean, I suppose if the stories are to be believed, and bear in mind this happened decades ago, so I can't be certain. I wasn't there. But the stories are pretty uniform about what happened, and apparently the emperor kept making demands of the sword that the sword would not fulfill. He wouldn't comply with these demands, and as a result, in the end, the hostility between the two had grown to such a level that the sword exiled himself. He simply removed himself from court, but allegedly it was either that he did so himself, or the emperor would probably either have done that or thrown him into a dungeon.
You should do that to Liam into your class.
Maybe. I mean, but surely there's a new emperor in place. He can just.
Yeah, you see, there's this little detail there that the imperial family is flawless. They cannot make a mistake.
Well, that's just not possible.
Ilva looks like that she's about to say bullshit, but she doesn't say it.
If the emperor now speaks ill of his father, he puts his own legitimacy into question. So instead, he doesn't speak of his father or anything he did at all. He is instead simply repairing the damage that's been done.
I can see that this matter is one that causes you some degree of concern.
It very much does.
Oh,
We
Since
don't.
I am-
Oh, sorry, please.
since I am not an Imperial, I have no such qualms in saying that it sounds. Your system is strange and it invites danger.
Well, I suppose it does, but so does yours.
I suppose, yes. What do they say?
There is no perfect system out there, is there?
Having a sword rule is the worst form of rulership you could have, apart from the last form of rulership.
Hardy har out of character, but yes. Nice rewriting of Churchill there, by the way.
I've got to. I'm British. I am required to mention him occasionally.
Yes, that's fair enough.
By law.
Yes, exactly. See, you know Rasmus by
If
now.
nothing else, then by law. Ah. I are so funny. And I think actually on this point we should take our first break.
Yes.
So don't go anywhere. We will be back with more The Long Voyage in just a moment.